namaste, good evening, and it's special to come back. After many, many days at 5 o'clock, the day has changed, but the intent remains the same. I still hope to reach your hearts and hope that you continue to share and give us the kind of support you gave us for 40 weeks in our season one. A commendable support, and I think that's what made us brave enough to come back to you. So this time, what are we going to do? And how different are we going to be from a routine? So early as educators, parents and teachers, I think we all have lived it, believed it, and nurtured this lovely triangle like never before. We have taken care of all the new situations. Now, each topic that we are going to bring to you is going to focus on what we can do as early as educators, as parents, as teachers. We will take a step-by-step process and create a pattern that if I have to be an early years teacher empowering myself, then I have to go one step at a time. I have to go ahead without feeling that I don't know this, rather than saying that I can learn this. So that's what we are going to take you forward with, that I can learn this. I can learn this. There is support enough to do it. So as we build the tracks, we really don't know the wonder of what we can all create together, because that wonder only happens when we all are together, right? So we will invite you as parents, as teachers, as young facilitators, as people who work in the field of education, to please write to us. Write to us if you want to be a part of this process, and we will perhaps put in even a lovely, evening where people who want to contribute can come and be with us and share, and the others can learn. We are definitely calling this program with the ECC, engage, collaborate, correlate, and empower. So the ECC with a lot of empowerment is what we are going to be looking at. We're going to look at different domains. We're going to look at different skills. We are going to look at, but as our routine was, we have to start with a story. So a very, very quick story. And my friend Pan is here. He's in the garden and he's playing with his friends. Some are small, some are tall. If you want to explain early years to a teacher, we'll do it through a story. That what is the expanse of the early years bracket as we see it being described in the National Education Policy and how people perceive it, right? So the early years is a beautiful place. It starts with fun, it starts with learning, it starts with a lot of orientation, right? So we are ready to go live now, and it's 5. So in a garden, there are children who are tiny and some who are tall. One was so tiny, he just looked a year old and happily crawled and rolled. Then one was a little bigger, and it seems he was 2 years and explored and was more bold. Then one looked even bigger. So there was one and one more, and one looked even bigger and walked around, seemed 2 years and explored and explored. Then he looked bigger and he looked behind every nook and tree. Maybe he was 3, a curious one. Then came one more. Chatted and spoke and ran and sang and wanted to do more and more. She looked about 4. Then came a confident one, just not shy. To do new things, he would strive, and he was, I think, 5. And then came the one little taller and really smart. He could do sums, he could draw, and he loved art. He was 7 and he would always wait for an activity to start, absolutely ready for new things. That is what children that age are. And then there was one that was 8, a leader, and would lead all the children. Sometimes would put them in a circle and sometimes in a line so straight, and this child was 8. So from birth to 8 is this lovely garden of the early years learners. And they loved and they would play all the way. The teachers and moms and dads and grandmas and uncles and aunts, everybody came along, they sang happy song, and they were careful that they learned many things so that they wouldn't go too wrong. So this garden we will build, we'll plant, we'll nurture it together, we'll grow one step at a time, and we will let it bloom. So welcome to all of you to this next season of Square Panda Thursdays, so that you can have your weekends with your families. I think this is a precious time, and all of us understand that. So when we started this, there were two ways to do this. One was to get experts in each domain. You know, anybody, because it is an area of specialization, the world of specialization. But what does a preschool teacher do? She has this one child and she has to learn how to handle so many domains by herself. So I thought I'll put myself in that teacher's place because that is how I have grown. Sometimes, you know, I used to know very little about things. And if I saw somebody with very vast knowledge, I would kind of look at them with awe and wonder if I could do it. But I would listen, I would learn, and I would observe. And I would absorb. I would reflect. I would look into the mirror and say, I know this. I can do this better and I can learn this. Because finally, an early years teacher has to have so many skills. So that is what we are going to do. Self-reflection to understand how many skills each one of us has. I just came across a kind of a learning graph. It said innovation will have some people who will adapt like this. It will be like maybe 2.5, 2.8%. Then there will be somebody who will be early adopters. Some will be like quick adopters. Some will be early adopters. They will just wait for a little bit and then they will adapt and adopt. After that, you have slightly more adventurous majority. Now they're saying, oh, this is working, let's follow them. So this big chunk of majority follows them. Then you have a little lesser majority that is still skeptical. And then you have about 10 to 15% people who just don't want to change, self-reflect, learn, just not there. Now it's up to us how we take ourselves into which part of this curve. Do we want to be really quick and say, we are going to lead this, I'm going to pioneer this? Are we going to say that, okay, now this is working, let me adapt fast? So it is about you putting yourself into any of these 5 slots. Very quick, follow the leader, think and follow, a little slow, and just say it's not working. So self-reflection is so important. Self-audit is so important. So if I can't audit myself, how will I know what I need to learn? So much before any course starts, much before any certification starts, much before any training starts, when the national education policy is talking about certain number of hours of teacher empowerment, I thought it's also good to train ourselves, to empower ourselves and open our minds. So the logo of the Square Panda Thursday is so beautiful. I put it up on the corner and the hands are going up like that, going up to the sky and saying, this is the expanse of learning we can all do together. So I thought it was a very relevant logo created by somebody very creative, very thinking, that this is what we need to do. Just reach out and embrace learning. And that's what we're going to try and do today and in the next few weeks to follow. Like I always have said, I don't claim to be an expert, but I claim to be a very, very passionate, dedicated early years teacher, somebody who has loved my profession from my heart. And I put everything that I have into it. Each of my skills goes back into learning this process. It doesn't matter to me when I meet experts. I smile at them and say, thank you, my cup is empty, I have so much to learn. It doesn't scare me, it doesn't worry me, because there is so much to absorb and learn from these people. So please never ever undermine your own abilities. So that's the first thing we are going to do. How are we going to handle this now? So I'm going to do this little activity which I want you to do post the session is, I want you to draw a garden with children between the ages of just born to 8 years old, a garden where you feel should be all the things that will help to make these children happy, all the things in the garden to be added of what will make us happy as parents and as teachers. Use as many colors as you want to. Do not restrict yourself to any Googling of what you should have in the garden. Put your hand on your heart and build this garden. Just build a beautiful garden. Draw it on an A4 sheet, because if you can just photograph it and send it to us or put it up on our Facebook page with your name, I think that would be the most beautiful thing to share with all of us. This is not a competition. I'm not going to say that please send us your entries and we will declare a winner. No, anybody who's brave enough to draw the garden is a winner. Somebody who can visualize, somebody who can say, and please realize slowly and slowly your gardens are going to become more beautiful. They're going to become more precise. Your carries will be better. Your quality of flowers will be different. Think about it, and we would be so happy if you share it with your name, like on the comment, put it on your on the Facebook page that we are all interacting on. I think we would love to see it. And like I said, it's all collaboration. It's not going to be competitive. We are not declaring any results. So ECCE ideally consists of flexible, multifaceted, multi-level, play-based, activity-based, discovery-based learning. So look at the expanse of what the teacher has to learn. And that is what we are going to try and do in the next few weeks. Every week, I will take a step-by-step process of how we can train ourselves, empower ourselves, how we can empower people with us. For example, if you're heading a school, if you have a small team, how can we use this platform to empower the other people with you, to empower new teachers who are coming into the community, to empower young parents? That first of all, we have to be reflecting and looking at ourselves, right? That's a very, very important thing. Now, I came across this lovely, process over here, which I would like to explain to you. I would definitely take a little time to do this, and I will step up and I will go to the wall and I will talk to all of you. I think you can hear me clearly enough. Sejal, you can hear me. If not, do let me know through a message, or
Yes, ma'am.
we can. If I move away from the thing, because I don't want the link to go away. So, all right. This is my mind map. This is how I have always built my work. Every time I wanted to learn something, I would have dynamic things. Like I would have things which I can move, and I could do it on paper as well. But I would love to have things that I can move and be dynamic. So this is like a mind map of the early childhood care and education, calling it engaging, collaborating, correlating, and empowering. Now here, I put in everything that I feel an early years system needs, an early years process needs. I would just put everything in it. I wouldn't think in which order is it coming. Should I put this first? Should I put this second? I would just put in every point I need to empower, because I am self-auditing. I'm looking at myself and saying, oh, these are the points, these are the points. So this is what you can do even in your day-to-day processing with your own self. You can do it so wonderfully even in this digital time when you're all sitting together. You can all show each other the walls that you have all built, and maybe I have 10 points, my friend may have another 2 extra. So each one keeps adding as a community and collaborative work. It is so easy to do. You can bring in the parents' perspective and then look at this huge amount of resource, huge amount of knowledge that we need to have. After we have the knowledge, we have to learn how to apply, because it's important to apply. Otherwise, I was just clearing out my shelf today when I was to do the session. So I saw packed with books. I have like books from everywhere. So what do I do with all those books? I make a certain amount of reading time per day. I will read for 15 minutes from any of the books every single day, and I have been doing this for the last many years of my life. As I author the books, as I travel, as I do pick up a part of it and I read, and when I'm traveling, because they're thick books, I just take snapshots and I will read that part of it. I've done it for years of my life. The next thing I do is I look at people in this huge world of digital skills. I would say such a wonderful set of people, and I have in the last 10 months not listen to everybody, but I will listen to key things that I want to learn. Because now my garden is ready. I know that these things are there, and I may not have some of these skills, which is fine. We don't all have to be expected to have all the skills, but to be realizing that we don't have the skill is very important, very, very important. And then you realize also how many skills you have. And you'll say, oh my God, and you listen to somebody and say, oh my God, I do this. Maybe not in a very slotted manner, but you may be doing it without even realizing it. So two things: read up regularly, make your little walls, reflect, audit, see what you need to learn, and then go down to learning it. I thought this was one thing which I must share with all of you. I'm going to go to the other side. If you see this, it's a distinct T, right? So this is something which I learned from the young MBAs children who I have around me, my children. And you know, it's so wonderful that every generation, every kind of a skill set will teach you, and now it's up to you how you integrate it into your little ECCE world. I think that is what it is. So I thought this T was a very, very nice concept. I'm going to step on to the other side and explain this concept to you. You know, when this whole pandemic happened, the first thing I did was I set up my cupboards of my little, shelf, and I said, this is going to be my studio. So it worked, right? It worked for so many months, and hopefully it will work further. Of course, we want to see everybody back together very soon. So I'm now moving to this one. Now this is your competencies required for a particular process. Now the deal is that if these, now I can pick up maybe 4 main competencies, that these are the most important things in my early childhood domain. So understanding domains is important. Activities and building resources is very important. So I build this up here. Okay. Then I feel knowing the brain development of the child is very important. So I add it here. And my attitude is very important of learning. Okay. So I have made the core competencies come here. Now what I have to build is my core strength. What I built there were the general needs of a domain, any domain. It could be the segment of the childhood education, like we are working with ECCA. So these are all those. What I have moved here are the core competencies. These are the most necessary things. Now I'm going to look at my skill set. So this part is the most important part of it, and it is very, very important to have your own power core competencies being built here. So when I am auditing, when I am reflecting, when I am ready to learn, I also learn so much about me. I look at myself and say, my God, I have a really good attitude. My strength is activities and building resources. I do a lot of this, okay? I understand domains. I have worked and understand domains. I still need to learn about the brain development. I need to learn exactly how this little child's brain develops. I know parts of it, but I don't think it's my core competency. You're seeing how we are going? We are going from a general to a little more specific and then building your own competencies. In this whole process, what is interesting to see is how many of these parts will come here and in what span of time will you bring them into your core competency. So that when you meet experts, when you meet somebody who specializes in brain development, somebody who specializes in social emotional development, somebody specializes in mathematics, in numeracy, you will feel competent because you are going to deal with all of this with that little learner in your classroom. We are not going to have these experts in our classes. We will have to strengthen our core. So this T is what you will try and remember. You will have core competencies. You will make your strengths keep growing, and slowly that whole skill set will transfer from here and go here. You will keep learning. You will keep changing. You will keep self-auditing. Look into the mirror and self-audit. Make clear notes on your learning and keep slowly and steadily taking it forward. I hope that, this whole process, I was very excited when I was putting this together for you because I kept thinking, what all can I put here? Can I bring storytelling here? Can I build, can I do skill building here? Can I do developmental continuum here? Can I do order here? And I have to tell you this very, very frankly. When I started as a preschool teacher, there were so many competencies I didn't have. And if I had a choice between studying more and going and applying more, I always chose the application. I studied, I upgraded myself, I did a few courses. But if you said that, so I just used to find it very, very, my pillar of competency was my application. So I kept strengthening that. Sometimes, yes, when I come across people who are like, very, very, they have a lot of degrees, they have a lot of qualifications. I feel very, very nice to meet them because they are so systematically slotted. But I don't feel incompetent. And I feel that is one very necessary thing for all, educators, that grow your competency. Say that I'm going to learn this, I'm going to make this work, and I'm going to make this work for me first. Once it works for me, then I start empowering others. Right? So what makes a teacher facilitator or any facilitator different from the others? It is this ability. It is this ability to, look at your requirements, look at the needs, shift them to priority areas, and then build them into yourself. I think this is the basic difference, and that is the whole reason why teacher training, teacher facilitation, parent support, parent facilitation, parent empowerment is being given so much of importance because we need to get it as right as possible. There will be errors, there will be, things going wrong, but we have to keep trying. And I think that's the whole purpose of what we are doing together. Let me just have a sip of water, please. Right. So I do hope that, so today I don't have a chat window with me. Otherwise, usually I have a chat window so I can see a lot of people, connected to what we are doing. So today I'm missing out on the comments. Yes. So yes, I'll go through them. Okay. So what is very important also is best practices. I think that if we are ready to look at best practices around us, we will gain out. So as we keep looking at best practices, our garden keeps growing, our competencies keep growing, and our core keeps growing. Buddy learning and growing is another very, very useful suggestion that I have for you. I have a very dear friend, somebody who's been with my work for the last many years, and I still call her up before I do something new. So I'm sure she's here. So my buddy Nishi, thank you so much for that support, for always being there and supporting me. My buddy here, Sejal, who listens to all my thoughts before she takes me live. So these are my support systems. Some people are my support systems for learning, where I tell them, please assess, please see what I'm doing and tell me back. Some people are my support system for just sounding out, and some people are my support system for just the last one saying, go. So build your support systems, build your buddies. It's one of the best systems to be. I think even the army, the forces, they have this system where they support each other, right? So this is what you're going to look at. Like I said, self-auditing. What we're going to do today at the end, in fact, what we're going to do in the next few weeks, is as we finish the session for each week, we are going to give you a small drop down, like the drop down I have put there. We are going to make it very light, very, very pleasant to fill up. This is a signature by me for me. So it's my signature, my audit for me. And we will keep these audits going. We will keep a whole process going. And what this wonderful team of Square Panda is going to do is, after each, because these are going to be systematically interwoven sessions. The first session for an early years learner, early years facilitator, and early years parent would be to get our minds ready, to get our audits ready. So today our session was based on self-reflection. So the next session is going to be based on different domains of learning. So every week we will talk of one topic. And like I told you, these are things I have learned on the way. I will interact with people, I will learn, and I will share with you. If we can do it better, you are most welcome to write back to us and say, these points you missed out, because it's collaboration, it's cooperation. I may miss out a point. Please put it down, we will share it back with the audience. And that's what we want. We want an audience who is going to be not an audience, but a partner to what we are going to grow. So we will not be calling you an audience, we'll be calling you partners. We'll just say, let's partner together, right? And that's what we would like to do. And most important out of this whole thing is the self-learning and application. You collect loads and loads and loads of knowledge and you're not able to apply it. And that is the biggest worry for education today. So you must apply. Apply it with 4 children, apply it with 15 children, apply it in small pockets, but apply it instantly so that you know that what you are picking up, what you are doing is applicable or not, right? So I saw a very nice saying today that for success, see your goal, understand the obstacle, create a positive mental picture. So mentally tell yourself you're going to make it work, right? Clear your mind of self-doubt. That is why the mirror. No self-doubts. Stay on your track. Keep your focus. It's very important. Show the world you can do it. I would say show yourself you can do it. Please believe me, when I come on a show live, and when I did this for the first time, I was nervous. Today, when we started the Square Panda Thursdays, I was nervous. But I looked at myself, I sat with my children, and I said that, it's a big responsibility when you interact with so many people. You better go right. So they smiled and told me that, you're trying. So I think that's important. So yeah, self-doubt, bilkul bhi nahi. Each one of us has to say that we can do it. So please seek information. Seek information, whatever you feel you don't know, seek it today. It's in plenty. When I say information, when I was reading up for our sessions that we are going to be doing, I found the best information in the government-based resources because they are going to be the benchmarks. Please remember, whatever we say and do individually, there is a body in the country that is creating a standard for the country after tremendous research. If you and me research 10,000, they do 10,000 into 10, maybe 100. So their suggestions are so good. So, I was reading a few days just now when I was working on this thing is that in 1986, when the ECC program was suggested by the NCRT, they said holistic learning was used then. In 1990, I believe there was a Ramamurthy committee that endorsed this, that said, yes, holistic learning is very, very important and it must be done. Yet what we chased the last so many years, we all chased this. We all know. Before, by the time the child was 3, we chased the 3 hours. We were not worried whether this committee was telling us, don't make the nursery children write 1 to 20, A to Z, uppercase, lowercase. What should we do first? Madam, shall we add cursive? We did all of that and we all know what it has done to children. Now, writing requires muscle readiness. We didn't let it happen. Reading requires shape and sound discrimination. We were so busy to make them right. We were not too worried for the readiness, not the phonemic awareness. The arithmetic requires a move of skills to understand and move from concrete to abstract. You've seen worksheets that say, circle the heavy things. Really? How can this little child circle heavy things? But the child can carry heavy things, touch and feel soft and light, full and empty, and then perhaps do. But what everybody would say, Madam, you give us 5 worksheets on this. Why? You do the activity 5 times. Maybe do as a worksheet as a recap. So this worksheet mania was like everybody was doing worksheets. And they were saying activity sheets. What are activity sheets? Activity is activity, worksheet is worksheet. Right? So it's an important thing to do. Recap activity in a worksheet perhaps, but don't take it as a replacement. It doesn't work. So we want the early years teachers to apply, and we want you to have an environment that will help you to apply. I think that's what we all need to talk about and do. So self-reflection is the topic for today. Have we, and there are a few really interesting questions that our little poster is going to ask you. I'm going to go through it with you very quickly. I would like you to download it. I'd like you to put it up, make a little self-reflection wall as we go along. I think it would really kind of help us to, build what we have together. So the first part of what we asked you to do was build a little journey for yourself, right? Build a little journal for yourself and say that, okay, so do you feel this is necessary? How often do you concentrate and change or you feel change is necessary? 1 year back to now, what are the changes you feel in the different aspects? Very simple things, but step by step, if you answer them for yourself, you'll realize how much you have learned in the last 1 year. Actually, today when I was sitting doing that and I put up this little poster, I thought that I will fill it today because I feel that there's so much that I learned from so many people in this whole process, right? So a very, very beautiful poster put together by our team that says, what are you able to do? What did you learn? I have changed my teaching style and now can. And more, what is the most challenging part of the year? How you feel, a simple carry home, which I want you to download. And if you're going to keep coming back on Thursdays, we would love it if you continue to build this little journal for yourself. We are going to make these pages beautiful. So it's like, when you had those baby books for yourself. So maybe this is another one which we are going to build together, right? So each one, step by step, we'll build this together. I'm also going to be seeing, like I said, that I must see the notifications or the people who are watching us. So what I also want you to do is please leave a comment, please leave a suggestion. Tell us whether we are doing what we are doing is what you would be interested in. Because I thought that many times when I was looking for support, I would find very unconnected conversations. So I thought, let us have a connected step by step conversation that today we self reflect, tomorrow we learn one more thing, the third thing, the fourth thing, and we go in the order which can also facilitate a complete train the trainer program in your schools, in your systems, with your teachers, with your parents. I have a strong faith in this self empowerment. Because if schools are empowered, if teachers are empowered, we will make life that much easier. I'll give you a small, incident that happened very recently. A few years back, I worked in an organization. I worked with an organization and a wonderful team of teachers. And then I moved on, as people do. I left town and I moved on. And after many years, when I met them back again, it was just phenomenal to see that where I had left them, they have grown a strong system with that left, what I left them with. So I left them with a small skill set. And today when I'm sitting with them, I feel that there is so much that they can train me with. I'm looking at new things they are doing. So it's about, and imagine if they had not decided to change at that point of time. 8 years down the line, they would have been almost still struggling. And we are seeing these two distinct types of people. People who are ready to say that, yes, we will change and we can do it. We can empower ourselves. So I think that's where we are going to kind of breathe in and, just recap. Everybody mind maps. It's important. Learn how to mind map. Do dynamic mind maps. It's such fun to do because you can keep adding to this. You don't have to do any cutting. You can just keep adding pockets and you can keep adding to your mind map. Grow your ECC community. Already we've seen such beautiful communities growing. So please keep growing that and get your competency absolutely correct. So starting with core competencies and then creating a deep discipline and internalizing and an expert in your own skills. I think that is what is going to make our reflection complete. And now what I'm going to ask you to do is very, very quickly, if you can just download, there is a link which, the Square Panda team has shared with you. So if you can download what we've left for you and fill it up, and please don't forget to share that garden of early years where you have children between birth to 8 years old, all the things that you feel the children would need in the garden, all the things that you would need as an educator or a parent, and what all is going to make this, and then, the khad, pani, hawa, whatever we are going to keep adding. And please photograph it and share it with us so that everybody shares each other's vision. Like I said, no, this is not a competition. It's collaborative work. We want to learn from each other, right? So today was a day of audit, self-reflection, the mirror, right? And just being. I think that's what I'm going to kind of wind up the evening with. That can we just make this whole thing really more powerful. I also feel self-reflection mustn't be left for teachers alone. They are a part of the system. So managements need to self-reflect whether they are allowing teachers the liberty to do what they need to do. Parents need to self-reflect and understand the enormity of what an early years educator does. An early years educator self-reflects and sees whether she's able to do justice to this holistic environment. Many, many times I meet teachers who always will tell me that, ma'am, we want to do this, the system doesn't let us do this. So anybody here who is responsible for the system setting, please set the system right. You can't give the teachers a very heavy content book and say fit in activities. You have to first have activity processes in place and then you fit in the written content. It should be the other way around in early years. So please give this teacher that liberty to do it. You know, in my 75,000 teachers that I have facilitated, everybody has told me that, ma'am, we are not given the liberty to change the syllabus. Now, how will it be a multi-flexible, play-based curriculum if your teachers are not given this liberty to let it be flexible according to the learning levels of the children? So please allow that. So systems reflect, coordinators reflect, leaders reflect. Understand that the teacher is giving you indicatives. Please take those indicatives. That is how the whole process is going to get better, right? It's not going to get better just like that. So, and get your teams together. Make your notes, make very short, crisp notes, share them, talk about it. And I think each time you finish a session, you finish a webinar, a concept, discuss it for 5 minutes. Just they say, let the rod rest. After you finish something, you have to let the rod rest. That is how consolidation and absorption happens. You know, we are doing things too fast. So we are going to be taking one topic at a time, breathing peacefully, talking about it, recapping that these are the things we are going to do. How simple is it to do? I've just used old cards, you know, just cards be turned around and I can just use the backside for whatever else I want to do. And everything is going to be reusable. And this backdrop is going to remain more or less stable. I'm going to try and optimize this as much as I can. We'll do the learning domains in this and then the next we'll do in this and see where it goes. I hope our Thursdays are having a good beginning. We do see a lot of interaction from all of you as our partners. And I hope to keep seeing you back on Thursdays. Your suggestions are welcome. Nothing can grow without people. And I think this whole digital world has taught us that more than ever before. That finally it is people who make things happen, and we need to empower, self-reflect, self-audit, keep looking into the mirror, smile a little more at yourself, and don't be afraid to learn. We can do it, right? So thank you so much, and I hope you had a good session, and we can keep bringing better sessions for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Square Panda.